I'm Coach Bronson. I am a health and fitness coach in the keto carnivore space. I work with people individually or in groups to improve their quality of life through understanding and implementing some basic concepts around nutrition and fitness, because both of them combined are what's required to really live your best life. I've been doing that for about 10 years. An author and I speak at conferences all over the country year round. I'm really blessed to be a part of this program. And what I'm going to talk to you guys about today is some tips and things about mindset and how you approach your journey that really don't have anything to do with the specific fitness or nutrition aspects of improving your quality of life. It's more about how do you take those basics and keep doing them consistently long term, because we want this to be a lifestyle, not a short term fix, right? So often I find that when I'm working with clients, most of what we talk about is not nutrition and is not fitness. The nutrition and the fitness piece is really the easy part. It's about manipulating numbers, finding the way to finding the numbers of macros or the tools that you can apply to how to prepare food or get variety in food or what exercises work for somebody. That stuff can be fairly simple and basic to put into place. That's a template. That's like filling in pieces to a puzzle. Once you have that puzzle figured out, it doesn't change. It's there. That's what needs to be done. Getting it done consistently, that's the challenge. Much of my discussions with clients when I meet with them regularly is more about staying on plan, remembering why they're doing things, controlling their environment, changing habits, changing emotions, being aware of what's going on, why they're making the decisions that they make, and things like that. It's much more about internal perceptions, limiting beliefs, and mindset around your lifestyle and journey and what you want to do, where you want to be. So let's discuss that a little bit. And the first thing I wanted to explain to everybody is the importance of understanding why you're doing this thing, whatever this thing is. If you're just starting keto, carnivore, you're changing your nutrition, you're deciding you want to get into fitness, there's something that you want to change about your life. And many times that manifests in the question of why are you doing it, with the answer being, I want to lose weight, I want to look better, I have a health issue, my doctor told me I needed to do it, something to that effect. Something at the surface level is what you want to change, because you think if you change that thing, the rest of all of the things in your life are going to get better. And I'm here to tell you that that's not really the thing. In many cases, the initial reason that someone gives for why they want to change their life is not the real reason, and you need to dig. So one of the things that I work with clients is digging down into the real emotional, visceral connection to why they want to do something. Okay. Just as an example, if someone comes to me and says, I'd like to work with you, I need to lose 50 pounds. Okay. That's what you want to do. I want to lose 50 pounds. Why do you want to lose 50 pounds? I want to lose 50 pounds because insulin resistant. Okay. If you lose 50 pounds, is that going to fix your insulin resistance? What is it about insulin resistance that you want to fix or get rid of? Well, I don't like being on my medication. Okay. You don't like being on medication for insulin resistance. There's a bigger risk of cardiovascular disease, whatever other reasons there are. What is it about the medications that you don't like? Well, I don't like how much it costs. I don't like having to be controlled and having to take something that is not natural to stay healthy or to have the symptoms of not being sick. Okay, so there's an issue of control here, and we can dig down. We can dig down into control. We could go all the way down into something that happened when they were a teenager, where they lost control, and control is something that they are really connected to, and not being in control of their life is the real reason why they want to lose fat. It's a control issue. They've lost control and they want to get control back. That's the reason that they want to lose fat. They think if I lose fat, I'll gain control of my life back. Okay, that's the connection. So if someone asks you, why do you want to lose fat? Why do you want to do this program? Why do you want to change your life? The reason isn't that I want to lose fat because I want to get off my medication. The reason is I want to get control of my life back. That is a much more ingrained, in-depth, emotional reason that you will be connected to when things get hard, when things get challenging, when you're presented with options that go against that. Okay, so now you have an emotional connection. That's a fear of losing control. That's a desire to maintain mastery of yourself. That is much stronger than, yeah, it'd be nice if I lost 50 pounds. So when you go to that party, when you go to that work event, when you're presented with something that says, hey, here's something that I used to do that I used to like and enjoy. I know it's not really healthy for me, but everybody else is doing it. It's just one time. I can go ahead and have that slice of pizza or that cake or whatever it may be. Or I don't have to work out today. I'd rather go do this with my friends. Okay. If you're connected to that loss of control, you know that if you do that, you are giving up control, and that's not what you want to do. So it's easier to stay on track and stay consistent if you keep your why emotional. Okay. That's the key to understanding what you're doing and why you're doing it. You have to be emotionally connected to it. Emotional connection to why you're doing something has to be stronger than the emotional connection to the things you used to do. Okay. So that's number one. Define your why in detail. Get granular, dig down into it. It needs to be like digging a well, get deep, okay, so that it's never going to run dry. Right? Keep it in front of you all the time. If you can find something that's visual, write something down. I highly recommend writing it down. If you can find something visual, put it up on your fridge, put it on your computer, put it in your office sign. Find something that represents the reason why you're on this journey, and look at it every single day. Review it every single day. Start your day by reading some notes about why you're on this journey and why you're going to make the decisions to be successful every single day. Okay, that's step number one. Step number two, connect with the new identity, right? And this actually leads into some sub steps that we're going to talk about as we go through here. But the identity of who you want to be is going to redefine the actions that you take to get there. So you currently have an identity and you're unhappy because the identity doesn't match the reality. You think about yourself in a certain way that you're not actually living in that way in many cases. I know that's how it was for me. I thought of myself as being active. I thought of myself as being an in-shape guy who could handle anything, go get them, gung-ho, former military, youth athlete, all these things. And I was presented with a reality in my late 30s that basically said, no, dude, you're overweight, you're sick, you got man boobs, you look like a beach whale. And I had to confront the fact that my reality and the perception of myself did not match. And that's why I was not happy. That's why I was depressed. That's why I felt like I was in a rut and stuck. So when I started identifying, okay, what is the new identity that I want to have? And then get in detail. What do I want to look like? What things do I want to be able to do? What do I do every day? What's my routine look like? How often do I work out? Who do I spend my time with? What are the things that I eat? All of these things in detail, all of the stuff about this new identity that I want to create for myself. And that gave me the actions that I needed to take in order to make that identity happen. Okay. I went from being overweight, sick, out of shape guy to identifying and building upon the identity that I had of being somebody who was in shape and capable and physically independent and strong and confident and full of energy in my late 30s to now I'm 50 years old and I'm in better shape than when I was in my 20s because I created that identity. It didn't happen overnight. It took a lot of time and it took a lot of consistent effort. And there's been a lot of ups and downs along the way. But consistently applying the actions over time to match the identity. It's the whole idea of fake it till you make it, if you've heard that phrase before. And it's not about being fake. It's about if you're trying to build a new lifestyle, you have to start doing the things that that lifestyle needs. Okay. So if you want to be a person who's in shape, you have to start doing the things that an in shape person does. If you want to be a person who eats healthy things and makes good choices, then you have to start eating healthy things and make good choices. If you want to be the person who has uplifting and positive friends who take them to the next level, then you need to start developing friendships and connections with people who are uplifting and will take you to the next level. If you stay in the life and actions and habits of where you currently are, you will never get outside of those into a new one. So that's the strength of having an identity that you can build and then move yourself into. Okay. That's going to mean maybe you let some people go. Maybe you let some habits go. Maybe you change your routine and mix things up. Okay. The idea of controlling your environment to enable success. Okay. If any of you have ever worked in IT or corporate world or even in construction, whatever, you understand the idea of project management. And it's a project manager's job to not just manage a project, but as I've been a project manager in IT for 20 years. And one of my tenets, one of the things that I firmly believe in project management is that it is the project manager's job to facilitate the work. It is my job to make the people doing the actual work on the ground as easy as possible. Okay. So I want you to think about yourself as the project manager of your journey. It is your job to make your decisions and your options point you to success. Don't set yourself up for failure, set yourself up for success. So you control your environment, you plan ahead, you tell people no. It's okay for you to say no, I'm not going to that event because I know that event is a trigger for me. And if I go there, I'm going to be more likely to do something that goes against my goals. That's okay. It's perfectly fine. Okay. So controlling your environment is everything from setting a routine, get on a schedule, block time for certain things, and make those things happen every single time. Okay. Don't use the excuse of I wasn't prepared or I didn't know. Okay. The most common example is food choices and going somewhere. You go on a trip and you go out to eat and you didn't look at the menu ahead of time. You didn't plan, or maybe you're out and you didn't plan on going out to eat. You went out with some friends to do something and you stayed out late and say, hey, we're all going to go eat. Do you want to come with us? You got a couple options. Yes, I'll go with you. No, I won't. I'll go with you and I will only select things on the menu, or I will be specific and ask the server to modify the menu. Or if they have something that comes out with, because this is what happened to me when I first got started. One of my biggest things was when I first started on the nutrition side was trying to get rid of French fries. So I would order things, and there were times where I'd forget to say no fries, and the fries would come with whatever I was eating, and it's like, oh man, I have the decision to make. Do I eat these fries? I really want to eat these fries because I love fries. I'm addicted to fries, and I was. But if I had taken the extra step to ask for no fries, then that wouldn't be a problem. Okay. If I had decided not to go out, that wouldn't be a problem. Okay. So when we do things and we're not prepared, that's when we're setting ourselves up for challenges. Okay. So always try to be prepared. Okay. And if you aren't prepared, if something happens that's out of your control, there's a whole nother issue. Sometimes something happens and it's out of your control. And maybe you go to a restaurant, you get some eggs and bacon, the bacon comes out, you start eating it, you get halfway done because you're talking to friends, whatever, and you realize, wait, this bacon's really sweet. I don't understand this. You ask the server, and the server says, yes, we coat our bacon in maple syrup, or it's got brown sugar on it, or something like that. Okay. It happens. Don't beat yourself up over it. Accidentally going off plan, having something like that happen is part of life, and it's about consistency. You stop eating the rest of the rest of the bacon you got left. If there is any left, sometimes bacon doesn't last that long. You stop eating that bacon, and then you just go about the rest of your day. Beating yourself up is not the same as being accountable. Okay, accountability is different. You've all heard the phrase "give yourself grace." If you go off plan, give yourself grace. You're a human. Nobody's perfect, and that's absolutely true. I want you to remember that no matter what happens, consistency is much more important than perfection. Okay, nobody's perfect. You are never going to be perfect. Okay, our goal is to try and make the decisions that move us forward more often than decisions that move us back. Okay, but we have to remember the important part there is we have to remember that either one is our decision. We have to take ownership of that. Nothing happens. Okay, the phrase, and I work with people with this all the time. The phrase "I fell off the wagon" is a red herring, and it's a scapegoat because it's putting the ownership and control of the situation off of yourself. Okay, you did not fall off the wagon. You forgot to strap yourself in, or you completely stepped off on your own. Okay, the wagon is a state. It's a thing. It's not doing anything other than rolling down the road. Okay, in most cases, you're the one driving it. It's not like you're in the back seat. Okay, so that's the first idea about the whole falling off the wagon thing is you're the one driving the wagon. So if you fall off of the wagon, it's because you don't have your seatbelt on, or you stopped the wagon and you got out. Either way, it's a decision to prepare or to stay and keep driving. Okay. So you got to understand that and take ownership of that. Okay. Falling off the wagon doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. It's always a choice. Okay. Um, Moving on from identifying your why, connecting with an identity, making your actions match your identity. That's the third thing, is you want to live the life that you want to live. If you want to be someone who's in shape, you got to do the things that that person does. Okay. Controlling your environment is the fourth thing. We talked about that. You have to make sure that you're doing things that support your journey and support healthy decisions. Prepare, think ahead, make plans, control your schedule, control your friends. Control your friends, meaning there may be some people, and this is really hard, there may be some people who you need to abstain from spending time with because they are bad influences on your journey and on your health. That's perfectly fine. The other thing about that, and I'll just throw this little aside in, is the way that you present your change and the things you're doing on your journey will make a huge difference in how people interact with you. And this is a perfect example. When you go to a family event and you talk to the people at the event ahead of time or during the event, there's food everywhere, and the way that you talk about what you're doing is, I have to go to the gym 3 times a week. I can't eat that. I can't have that. I can only have this. If you talk about everything that you're doing to improve the quality of life, which should be a positive, in the negative, then it's going to be received negatively by the people you're talking to. And guess what? They love you. They want to protect you. So they're going to try and get you to do something positive, which technically is negative because that means they're going to try to get you to go off plan. Well, why don't you just do this one time? It's okay. It's just this party. It's not a big deal, because you're telling them you're unhappy. If you use the negative to describe what you're doing to the people close to you, they're going to want to protect you because they love you by giving you something that makes you happy, or pushing you to do something that makes you happy. That's not on them. That's on you. Talk about what you're doing in the positive. I'm doing this because I want to live better. I want to be free. I want to get off my medication. I want to get control of my life back. I need more self-confidence. I get to eat all this meat. I get to eat all this cool whole food. I get to go build my body and get stronger. Can you believe it? I was able to lift 50 more pounds in my deadlift today. Whatever it may be, talk about the positives and the things that are happening well for you as you make this change. And I guarantee you the people around you will interact with your journey completely differently. Instead of them trying to pull you back, they're going to be curious and you'll start pulling them in. That's really cool when that happens. Okay, that's just a little side note. I talked a little bit about accountability. I want you to understand this is another thing you can do mentally to help maintain success. Accountability isn't about discipline. It's not about getting in trouble for doing something wrong. Often we talk about accountability partners, your coach is holding you accountable, your spouse or partner holding you accountable. And we think about it in terms of, if I do something I'm not supposed to do, they're going to find out and they're going to hold me accountable. That's not really what it's about. What you're looking for, and here's the key to accountability, what you're really looking for is you're looking for someone who's going to help you work through your mindset, your thought processes, and your emotions about the decision that you make to go off plan so that you can make a different decision again the next time. Accountability is about being aware of why you're doing what you're doing in the moment, because oftentimes when we're taking the action, we're not thinking about why we're doing it. We're just reacting to something. That's what a habit is, a reaction or a response to a trigger. So if there's a trigger, something happens, we have an emotional reaction. We think about doing this because that's how we've always responded to that trigger. Ice cream, pizza, go party, go get a drink, whatever it may be. And then afterwards, we're like, crap, I did that. I can't believe I did that. I don't know why I did that. I can't do that again. And we move on. And we beat ourselves up for doing it, but we never stop and make ourselves accountable for understanding why we did it. Okay. So that's what accountability really is. In order to be accountable, you need to stop, think through, and it may take time. It may take a couple days. It may take a couple weeks, but you have to work through what was the trigger? What was the environment? How did you feel? Who were you talking to? What happened right before you decided to do this? All the different things about your life and about where you were when you had whatever emotion it was that made you go grab that ice cream, go to the store and get the ice cream. Okay. So understanding what that trigger is, now you're starting to practice an awareness cycle of being aware of the things that trigger you. And here's what happens. We have a trigger. Something happens. We have an emotion and then we have an action. So trigger, emotion, action. Right now, in many cases, we're not aware of what the trigger, the emotion, and the action are. We know what the action is, or what the trigger and emotion are, till after it's all done over here at the end, right? The more you spend time afterwards understanding the awareness factor and understanding what the emotion and the trigger were, then you can close the gap between where that awareness is. Eventually, you'll have the trigger, you'll have the emotion, and then you'll be aware that it's happening. And you can squeeze being aware in between the emotional trigger and the action. That's when you start to get really successful, because now you have the awareness to take a different action. So practice being aware of what's going on, even if it's already happened. Don't just say it's already happened and moving on. Stop and think through what's going on in your head. What are you feeling? What's happening? Why are you feeling this way? What's the root cause of all this stuff that's going on? And then keep doing that until you can have that level of awareness when the trigger is happening and allow you to take a different action, because now you know and you can stop it in its tracks. Okay. That is one of the keys to breaking habits and building new habits. Okay. So basically, guys, just to summarize, you want to just define your why. You want to know why you're doing what you're doing. It has to be an emotional connection. You want to build a new identity. In order to build a new identity, you have to start doing the things that that new identity does. If it's a healthy person who exercises and climbs mountains, then go exercise and start learning how to climb a mountain. Okay, whatever it may be. You want to make sure that you control your environment. Take ownership of your journey. You are driving the wagon, so you can't fall off unless you choose to. Okay. And then remember that accountability isn't about discipline, it's about awareness. And the more you practice building awareness and being aware of your emotions and triggers, the more success you'll have at breaking old habits and building new ones. All right. I'm Coach Bronson. If you ever have any questions, feel free to contact me. You can find me everywhere on YouTube, Ultimate Ketogenic Fitness. My website is Ultimate Ketogenic Fitness. My challenges, I have 10-week challenges. I do one-on-one coaching. I have a book that's been published, the Ultimate Ketogenic Fitness book. You can find me on Instagram at Coach_Bronson_keto. Hope this has been helpful, and wish you guys the best of luck.